Once you get to the place of doing what you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, and not feel emotional, financial insecurity, then you've achieved the space of financial bliss. Today we're going to talk about how to achieve financial freedom. Let's talk about financial freedom, and I think that I don't think there's one definition. I believe that if somebody tried to present one definition and speaking in general terms, it could really miss the landing space, because at the end of the day, each and every one of us are different. You're different than me, right? You have different monthly bills. You have a different economic environment than I do. You have a different inflation rate than I do, right? So if you're living in Nebraska and I'm living in New Jersey, our money is different. Yes, it's paper, but at the end of the day, the psychology behind how you were brought up versus how I was brought up is way different. For example, you may be able to have, and I'm just going to throw a number out there, $50,000 or $60,000 a year in income, and you could achieve financial freedom with that, providing you're doing the right thing with your money. You're spending less and more than what you're bringing in, right? You're saving the difference. You don't outlive your money. You don't have a lifestyle that's egregious, and as a result of that, you've built and built and built, and the compound of interest has worked in your favor, and as a result of that, you may have achieved financial freedom. There's folks that I know that make $1 million a year, and at the end of the year, they have no money left, right? So it really comes down, in my opinion, when we really want to take a look at what is financial freedom, it's a mindset. It's the real estate between your ears, right? If your mind is geared towards financial abundance, meaning you're not living in fear at all times when it comes to money or decisions about money. You're living in a mindset of contribution, because Tony Robbins said it best. He said the level of your income is in direct proportion with your level of contribution. What do you think about that? Contributing, growing, contributing, growing, contributing, growing, and what begins to happen is it has a compound effect on it. So for me, the definition of financial freedom, and I said it at the top and I'll say it again, very simply to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, how you want, and not feel any financial constraints, any mental constraints, and live the lifestyle that you deserve. To me, that's the definition of financial freedom. Now, let's dig a little bit deeper, because listen, everything I just said, I believe 100%. Let's get into the execution side of it, and that starts with, if you get paid once a week, if you get paid once every 2 weeks, if you get paid once a month, the very first thing I'm going to say to you is, are you saving 20% of your income? Right now, you may only be able to do 5, 8, or 10%, which is a great starting place. But at the end of the day, if you're committed every single paycheck to save 20%, right, and being able to put that into a place that you're not going to touch, and you're going to use that as a, let's call it a turbocharger, and allow that money to grow over time, because you're going to use it for the greater good of liquidity and control, and be able to create your own economic system. By doing that, it really starts, you have to be able to save money first and foremost, right? And you have to give certain things up. So let's talk cash flow, money in versus money out, right? Money in, what are your fixed expenses? What are your variable expenses? Those variable expenses, fix them immediately, right? If you're going out to dinner, let's say 5 times a month, go 1. If you're going out to the bar, let's say maybe drink at home. And I'm not saying you can or can't drink. I'm just saying find ways to spend less money. Do some more carpooling, right? Drive a little bit less. Read a little bit more. Wake up an hour earlier every day for your side hustle if you work 9 to 5, so you could put more time in on a daily basis to be able to really stack that money. And it really starts, there's no overnight success. No one's going to come and rescue you. I promise you that right now. It requires a daily discipline that's backed with love. It's backed with exuberance, passion. And by doing that on a weekly, monthly, or bi-weekly basis, what you'll do is begin to create what I like to call a spiritual momentum that leads to financial freedom. All right, so listen, now you're saving money, and now your money's starting to grow. And now the question is, you don't want to leave it in a savings account because you're getting less than 1%. Plus that money is still taxed. So now you want to start funding into a cash value life insurance plan. That is your ground zero of financial freedom. That's where you start. You start building up your cash value life insurance, overfund the policy, and now you could use other people's money, and by doing that, you could create alternative investments, right? These alternative investments, you want them to be cash flow investments. So what does that mean? I'm going to just use one example right now. All of a sudden, you got money built up in your policy. You now buy, there's $100,000 in there. You take $50,000 out as a down payment for a piece of rental real estate. You're buying the real estate and you're getting 4 different rates of return: cash flow, mortgage interest write-off, depreciation, and you expect the property to appreciate over time. Those are 4 rates of return. If you did it without the insurance, you throw in the insurance, you're going to pick up another 3 rates of return: the guarantee in the policy, the dividend, and the 7th is when the renter pays back your policy. If you do what I just said consistently, passionately, with the right team around you, and you rinse and repeat that model, you will not only compound a rate of return in your world, you will compound a rate of return in your overall wealth, and it'll make your head spin, and you'll create generational wealth along the way. So once again, I think that the quickest way to accelerate how you could turn decades into days is you want to model people that have been there, done that, right? Now for us at Epic, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because every single day we are dropping educational content for you. With that being said though, whatever field of business you're in, go model the best person in that field, do what they do, watch what they do, listen to their stuff, read their books. And if you do that and build a team around you, massive acceleration will happen right after that.